but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF, 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 death, death to the IDF. Hell yeah, from the river to the sea, Palestine must be, will be, inshallah, it will.
Come on, Iran, get the job done. Keep at it and at it, you know. If you haven't got enough money for the missiles, I'm willing to chip in a bit. I've got a few quid's going spare. I don't mind helping you. Come on, get the job done. Keep at it. Keep at it. Flatten it. You know what I'm talking about. Flatten it, like Gaza was flattened. You get that job done. You get it done, kidder. Sort the buggers out. Teach them a bloody lesson. Yeah, I'm with you, Iran. You sort them out.
Uncle Trump has one shot, one opportunity to stop the death of America. One moment with a freedom of interest, but with DC written, yo. Vivek's palms are sweaty, his big job gets heavy. There's curry on his sweater already, mom's tandoori. He's nervous, but DOD is getting order ready to drop bombs, cause he gon' got the fat with Eddie. He goes down, DC crowd cries so loud. He opens his mouth, the words you find just come out. They choking now, we the people joking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, bound. Snap back, DOGE, lock, they swing gravity. Oh, grab your rock, with he choke, it's so ready. No boast, make it look easy. No, he works at it, he knows they're pushing it. Gotta keep him alive. Stand together, start World War III, make America great again.
Okay, so Anastasia, I was watching an interview with Tucker Carlson and the president of Iran, of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and it really got me thinking about America, Iran, Israel. What is Iran about? What is America about? And so I thought we'd take a look at the interview and talk about it.
I'd love to see it because I still think there's a lot of confusion about the topic.
Yes, absolutely. So let's take a look. This is Masoud Pezeshkian, president of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Iran is trying to develop a nuclear bomb in the past, and it has put it in the minds of every U.S. president since then, and to make them believe that we would like to have a nuclear bomb. But the truth is that we have never been after developing a nuclear bomb, not in the past, not presently, or in the future, because this is wrong, and this is in contrast to the religious decree or the fatwa which has been issued by His Eminence, the Supreme Leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, that so it is religiously forbidden for us to go after a nuclear bomb. And this was always corroborated thanks to our cooperation with IAEA, because they were always there that to verify this and to substantiate that we have never wanted a nuclear bomb.
Okay, I think I want to just focus on what this president said. So he says, we don't want nukes. You know, what are you talking about? We don't have any nukes. We're not processing uranium to 60% or higher. We're not doing that. So I have another video clip I'd like to show, and this is from the Israeli-American journalist talking about this topic. So let's take a look.
We received intelligence, and the Five Eyes, the countries, did also receive this intelligence that Iran was actively developing nuclear weapons. They were planning to develop up to 10 nuclear weapons within the immediate future. And this was going on while the nuclear negotiations were ongoing. Iran, for many, many years, has used negotiations as a tactic to try to get concessions in terms of sanctions from the Western world in order to buy time. And figure out ways around the IAEA regulations. And remember that the morning before this war actually started, the IAEA themselves issued a statement of non-compliance for the Islamic regime in Iran, detailing how they have violated the nuclear non-proliferation treaty and how they have been developing nuclear proliferation at levels much higher than ever needed for any kind of civilian use. And that's been going on for many, many years. So it's not really something new. And we know exactly what these tactics are of the Islamic regime in Iran when it comes to negotiations. And I think that Israel was actually right to move forward. We can't take these kinds of risks and wait and see what happens when it comes to developing a nuclear weapon that this regime, which is sworn to our destruction in Israel, intends to use. We can't take that risk.
Right, but Iran even now is claiming that its nuclear program is a peaceful one. Why not, release that intelligence for the whole world and even Iran to see that they were in the process of acquiring a nuclear weapon?
Well, some of that information has been revealed. I mean, it is also the statement of the IAEA, not Israel, that did state that they are actively producing nuclear weapons. But even prior to that, if you look at the levels of nuclear proliferation, there is no civilian use for 60% enrichment, which is 90% of the way to a nuclear weapon. There is no civilian purpose for it. So we already know for many years that the level at which they're producing uranium enrichment isn't logical. They're saying one thing to the Western world, but what they're doing is something else. And unfortunately, that's what we've seen for many years.
Okay, so I have a lot of questions going in my head. Because why is Tucker Carlson, look, I'm not against him talking to, I mean, if he were around during the 1930s, I would have applauded him talking to Adolf Hitler, to anybody, right? Literally anybody. But what I find a little bit kind of strange is why isn't Tucker Carlson asking questions? This woman, I mean, none of this is secret. Iran has been the one of the nuclear sites that was a uranium enrichment location that they lied about, that they pretended did not exist until they were found out, and they said, "Oh yeah, we have that, so nothing to worry about." So why isn't? And look, I understand Tucker Carlson doesn't want to see another Middle Eastern war. Doesn't want to have a forever war like in Iraq or Afghanistan. I understand that. But do you get to make good decisions by hiding information? I mean, Tucker Carlson is probably the most influential media person in the world right now, as far as, right?
Well, I would go back to what Trevor Loudon said, which was do your own research.
Right.
If we've learned anything, it's getting different perspective and seeing the facts. So this is one thing that's obvious to me, which is someone's lying.
Yeah.
So there's three entities. Is Israel lying? Is America lying? Or is Iran lying? Now, we saw the 12-day war. We saw the holes in these uranium-based or plant-based that were destroyed and how deep they were.
Right.
They were not destroying militias or government entities and overthrowing a government. What they basically did was they plucked out these facilities so that they could no longer keep producing. So if you're going to say, let's say Israel's a liar, then you're going to have to say that so is America. And I don't believe that, do you?
Well, look, I mean, America may choose to lie at certain times, but look, there's something very obvious. You don't build a civilian nuclear facility 100 yards underground. Okay, it's very expensive to do that. You don't build a normal nuclear. Nobody in the world, Japan, France has a lot of nuclear plants. There's still some here in America too. Nobody goes to the expense of building it 300 yards underground, whatever it is, unless you're trying to hide something. Okay, and I have to say, I mean, as a fan of Tucker Carlson for many, many years, because he was willing to speak out about Well, when he was on Fox, there were certain issues that he didn't really talk about as much as I wanted him to, like the COVID lockdowns and even the election. But then he has been speaking out about that, right, after he became independent. But to me, if you're going to interview someone like this and you don't ask even some basic questions, then I have to say I'm disappointed.
Well, we love Tucker.
Yeah.
But this interview reminds me a little bit of the Putin interview.
Right.
It's a softball interview.
Right. Right.
And these are not softball issues.
Right.
So I'm not really sure what his goal was.
Right.
Maybe one day we'll sit down with him.
Right.
And we'll have that discussion.
Right. Right.
And maybe he could explain it a little better to us. But it's important for our viewers, I think, to ask these questions.
I mean, Tucker Carlson interviewed, I believe his name is it Daryl Cooper, a historian, alleged historian, who said that in World War II, Hitler was the good guy and Churchill was the bad guy.
Right.
Okay. And look, I mean, if you want to hear the case for that, but Tucker did not ask him any questions. He just listened and let that message go out. And I find this disturbing because there are, we have some videos we show people around the world shouting for the death of Jewish people in Israel and around the world. So let's take a look at this alleged aid massacre by the Israeli Defense Force.
On Sunday, the world awoke to the news of another massacre in Gaza, perpetrated by Israel.
31 Palestinians were killed as they were trying to get to a humanitarian aid site in southern Gaza. And according to eyewitnesses on the ground, doctors at local hospitals, as well as the Palestinian Ministry of Health, Israeli gunfire was responsible for these deaths.
Hamas-affiliated voices on social media immediately claimed that Israel had perpetrated a massacre, that this was some kind of trap to lure Palestinians to their death. And international media ran with that story more or less without any verification.
The problem is, the massacre the media describes never happened. The IDF issued the initial statement denying the reports.
I urge you not to believe every rumor spread by Hamas.
They acknowledged firing warning shots to ward off potential thieves, but denied firing on Gazans at or near the distribution site. Then, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, Israel and US-backed organization managing aid distribution, released security footage from the aid site in question at the time of alleged massacre,
which showed not only that the Israelis had not done this, but that there was no gunfire at the site at all that could be determined.
At the same time, the IDF released drone footage from what they claimed to be a different aid distribution site that showed masked gunmen shooting into the crowd of people as they tried to collect humanitarian aid. Gazans on the ground that we spoke to claimed the violence was provoked and perpetrated by Hamas.
All right, so you have the worldwide media basically spreading what seems to be Hamas propaganda, accusing, it actually makes no sense. Israel trying to develop a new way to distribute food. Why would they shoot at Gaza residents who are trying to come get the food? It doesn't even make sense. Why would they do that?
Right. Well, what's more horrific is that, there's bad people in every culture.
Right.
Why is it that the Hamas terrorists are going and killing their own people to take their supplies in full view?
Right.
Okay, which shows an absolute, disrespect to your own people.
Right.
I don't know what kind of culture does that.
Right.
You don't see the Israelis doing that to their own people, or even to the Hamas people.
Right.
And why is it that, because you brought up a very good point.
To the Gazan people, you mean?
Yes. Why is it that the world media is controlling a narrative against Israel? I think everyone needs to ask that question. That's a question that Tucker is not asking.
Exactly. In Genesis 1:28 Civilization book, I talk about the red-green axis there is an alliance between radical Islam and the left. And these are people in America, in Europe, who say that they're for human rights and so on, but they're perfectly willing to promote essentially propaganda in order to help Hamas and other terrorist groups. And it seems that it's because they have this oppressor-oppressed paradigm where Israel is the oppressor and the Hamas are the resistance fighters, and therefore we're going to skew information and share propaganda, which later we can correct, but no one cares about the correction. They'll share propaganda because they want to take down, well, first of all, Israel as an outpost of human rights. You know, listen, if you're a gay person in the Gaza Strip, you'll be thrown off the top of a building if it's found out. You actually have gay people actually escaping to Israel because no one's trying to kill them there, all right? So you have this alliance of the left and radical Islam, and they hate not only Israel, but they hate America too. And what they agree on, I think, is they both believe in establishing, getting rid of Republican-style democracy with, you know, limited government and rights to free speech and freedom of religion, and they want to create a totalitarian system. Now, they don't agree on what that should look like, and we can talk about, you know, eventually, if they were to be successful in getting rid of our republic, there would be a little bit of a fight between the two of them. But right now, they're working together.
Well, here's the other thing too. We talk about the, you know, being gay, but you know, half the population is women.
Right.
And you can see that, you know, in Israel, they're just like here in America, you know, living free. You want to go to college, you want to get a job. I mean, who thought we'd be thinking like this in today's time? We have borders.
Right.
We know how it is. And then you go over to the other end, and they're just like stoning and abusing women for just showing a little bit of hair, or you know, or maybe being accused of talking back, or being alone on the street, and pretty much, you know, asking to get raped because that's what you don't do.
Yeah, you're an infidel woman, and you should be covered in a burqa or a hijab, and you're not doing that. So,
but the media is supporting that. There's something really wrong here.
Yeah, I mean, look, the media is complicit in this cover-up. All right, I'd like to go to another example of media capture, and this is a BBC broadcast whipped up by a performer named Bob Vylan, believe it or not, Vylan. And let's take a look.
Free, 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 free. Alright, but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF, 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 death, death to the IDF. Hell yeah, from the river to the sea, Palestine must be, will be, inshallah, it will.
This is in the UK. There's a British woman saying that she just wants the terrorists to get the job done. She's telling Iran, we want you to get the job done. So let's see what she has to say and who she wants them to get rid of.
Come on, Iran, get the job done. Keep at it and at it, you know. If you haven't got enough money for the missiles, I'm willing to chip in a bit. I've got a few quids going spare. I don't mind helping you. Come on, get the job done. Keep at it. Keep at it. Flatten it. You know what I'm talking about. Flatten it. Like Gaza was flattened. You get that job done. You get it done, kidder. Sort the buggers out. Teach them a bloody lesson. Yeah, I'm with you, Iran. You sort them out.
This is not the UK that I know or knew. It's a different kind of. Now I don't know exactly who this woman is, and I pray to God that she's not representative of most of the British. Okay. I don't know if you have any comment, but.
Well, here's the thing. Europe has completely changed over the last couple of decades,
Right.
where you have an influx of massive amounts of Muslims. I guarantee you from the reports and the crime that most people do not think this.
Right.
It's impossible.
Right.
Because they're seeing their own countries being absolutely
Right.
devastated.
Right.
But there's a point here, which is there's always a lunatic fringe.
Right.
And our job is to make sure to expose them
Right.
and expose the truth.
Right. See, I think that there are a lot of Muslims who would like to get out of this, what I could be called a mafia religion. The trouble is, if you're a Muslim and you say, I no longer believe in the Prophet Muhammad, I no longer believe in the Quran, then you are an apostate. And according to their religion, you could be murdered. If someone in your family or community is a very observant Muslim and they think that you're a traitor basically to the religion, it's not the same. It's not like here in America where we have religious freedom. And if people want to change their religion, people may not be happy about it, but they don't kill you. This is a little bit hopeful to me. This is a Lebanese TV host who has a message for Hezbollah, which is the terrorist group that's been funded by Iran. Leave us. Take your weapons, your drones, your rockets, your mouthpieces, your flags, your supreme leader, your Iran, your resistance axis. Leave us. Your great Iran has planted a nuclear bomb in our midst and justifies its existence in the name of honor, while we and your own people are consumed by wars and killed by hunger. As for your godly party, Hezbollah, it planted weapons and drones throughout Lebanon, claiming that it's here to save Lebanon. But lo and behold, it is finishing Lebanon off. Stop hijacking us. Stop putting our dreams in chains. Stop plundering our economy and stop killing our children. Stop blackmailing us and the world. I say this loud and clear. Leave us. We no longer see you as a resistance movement. When we look at you, all we hear is the din of war. And all we smell is death. Your weaponry has turned into noise rather than shield, prison rather than shelter. Your underground drone factories resemble the graves of our dreams above it. Leave us. You are not our destiny. We will not be held hostage by your delusions. Who told you that your weapons that abide by the orders of and Tehran constitute resistance? Who told you that loyalty to Iran is tantamount to patriotism? Go away and settle in those faraway lands. This Iran of yours will not reject you. After all, you exchange with it bread, salt, weapons, gold, a lot of money, and Captagon. Iran will not give you a cold shoulder, and after all the love you have shown it. Go away. We want to live in peace. Leave us. Yeah. So, I admire the bravery of this journalist, because who knows if the Hezbollah terrorists will try to attack him or execute him. All right, and then the last somewhat hopeful sign I want to show is we want coexistence. The leader of Hebron's most influential clan has said such things before, as did his father, but this time is different. Sheikh Jabari and 4 other leading Hebron sheikhs have signed a letter pledging peace and full recognition of Israel as a Jewish state. Their plan is for Hebron to break out of the Palestinian Authority, establish an emirate of its own, and join the Abraham Accords. So I have zero knowledge whether this is something that is realistic, but it does show that there are people living in the West Bank, and I'm sure also in Gaza as well, who are tired of living in a territory run by corrupt people who basically do not have the real interests of the people in heart, and who would like to live in peace with Israel, have trade. This is a very creative idea that they want to create an emirate and join the Abraham Accords, which was a treaty made in 2020 that President Trump, supported between United Arab Emirates, Morocco, Bahrain, with Israel, and establishing peaceful relationships and having embassies in each other's country and having peace and trade with Israel. So there are people in the Muslim world who would like to escape the death cult, which is radical Islam is. And honestly speaking, they'll tell you that we're just practicing what it says in the Quran. The Quran does praise people who die in the act of jihad against non-believers, especially Jews, and also Christians as well. But there are a lot of Muslims, they're gaining new information on the internet. They're realizing that what they were taught and indoctrinated with was very one-sided, to put it mildly, and there are people who would like to live in peace with Israel in the Middle East, and God willing, that will take place. And I do believe that President Donald Trump is trying to make that happen. So let's pray for him as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching MAGA Kingdom Report. We'll see you next week.
Uncle Trump has one shot, one opportunity to stop the death of America. One moment with a freedom of interest. But what you see with young Vivek's palms are sweaty, his next big job gets heavy. There's curry on his sweater already, mom's tandoori. He's nervous but DOD is getting order ready to drop bombs, cause he gon' got the fat with Eddie. He goes down, DC crowd cries so loud, he opens his mouth, the words you find just come out. They choking now, we the people joking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, bow. Snap back, DOGE, lock, face with gravity. Oh, grab your rock, with he choke, he's so ready. No boast, make it look easy. No, he works at it, he knows they're pushing it. Gotta keep him alive. Stand together, start World War III, make America great again.